It has changed my life. It has given me strength. It has allowed me to see that every move I make has a political valence and is important politically. It's meant everything to me, really. And I think when we think about Stonewall, I want people to think of the 50 years of activist work that it really signifies. It was several days. I was not there. I mean, that was a men's bar, a gay men's bar, but I heard about it. I had been out several years at that time, and I made a pilgrimage to across town to see a place where queer people had stood up for themselves against the mob and the police. There were fires everywhere, bonfires, trash can fires, and the smoke filled the air. So you could hardly see the buildings. There was so much smoke in the air. Well, it's certainly not exact, but I think that the moment was right, that it happened in a place like New York, where many people came to New York when they realized they were gay, when they came out. And I think in part because people like Fred began immediately organizing. I learned about the first organization, the Gay Liberation Front, on the bus. From Martha Shelley, and they were going to have their second meeting. So I was not a founder, but the minute when Martha asked me if I was interested, I said, and I really remember my exact words, I said, I have been waiting for this all my life. I think there had been protests before that took the form of picket lines of maybe 12 or 15 people. The women were required to wear skirts or dresses or business suits. The men had to have suits and ties on. And that was the homophile movement. But the homophile movement was about proving that queer people were just like everyone else. The Gay Liberation Front, the movement that came out of Stonewall, was about, we did not want to be like everyone else. We wanted to talk about how our difference and the knowledge gathered from the margin as persecuted people made us different, gave us knowledge that others did not have or did not have access to emotionally. We were about how that we were going to, within ourselves, find the difference that could transform our lives and transform the world. The Gay Liberation Front was a multi-issue organization. We were allied with Black Power. We were allied with the peace movement. We were allied with any movement for social change. We thought there could be no justice if there wasn't justice for everyone. And that's why I loved that organization. Of course, we couldn't imagine that. But we did know that it was extraordinarily important, that the media was extraordinarily important. One of the first demonstrations I was on was against the Village Voice, which was the supposedly local progressive newspaper. And they refused to use the word gay, which everyone was gay. There was a blanket term at that time. And they only would use the medicalized homosexual. that was a term of abnormal difference from heterosexual. It was interesting. We were both abnormal, we were sick, we were criminal, we were immoral. How could I forget that? We were immoral, and there was just no place to breathe. There was no place to breathe. All one could do was hide one's emotions, the core of one's life, one's relationships. That was the only safety. And safety was an enormous issue prior to the movement. Prior to that, really secrecy was your only safety. I mean, I was stoned on the streets, I was followed, I was chased, I was called names. My apartment was totally trashed. It was a very difficult and dangerous time, especially for a young woman alone. I'm sure even today, many can identify with that. In Gay Liberation Front, we all had a voice. Many lesbians left because of male privilege and the way in which it was deployed within the movement, within the group. I think the greatest thing about the Gay Liberation Front is not only did we transform through our work, but we were able to see that that work would benefit every other person. I think the media tends to focus on gay men, and they just can't help themselves, it seems. We are in a masculinist, male-dominated culture. It's still that way, and I think if lesbians had fought back, would it have been Stonewall? I'm not sure.